episodes 24/7.
Different ideologies,
Different perspectives.
share your views on the sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Welcome to the sunny side of life and of everything. I am Gabriella, 22 minutes gone past 12. This is your number one talk news and sports radio station, Nigeria Info. Good afternoon. I dare say it's going to be a great day, and it will definitely be one for me. I do hope it is same for you as well. We're going to kickstart a conversation today with some good and bad. I don't know. I wouldn't call it bad news. Some good news. Yeah, some good news. Twitter ban to be lifted soon, according to the federal government. The federal government yesterday said that the Twitter ban in Nigeria will be lifted soon. We'll look at that story. We'll look at the conditions they're giving Twitter as well. There's certain conditions that the government of Nigeria has given Twitter. We're yet to receive the response from the Twitter company. We'll also look at the reaction of Nigerians to this news. Quite interesting. One of the major reasons that stood out as to why they think the government is planning to lift the ban on Twitter at this time. That's where the conversation begins at 1 o'clock. The news update, and right after at 1:30, all on energy solutions comes through. You've been hearing about it. Today it begins. And at 2 p.m., I would like to know, what is the most difficult offense you've had to forgive? I might have a story to share with you on that hour, but that will happen at 2 o'clock.
Different ideologies,
Different perspectives.
share your views on the sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
The federal government yesterday said that the Twitter ban in Nigeria will be lifted soon. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, stated this while he was briefing State House correspondents at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting, which was presided over by the Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo at the First Lady's conference room at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. The minister, who was asked to give updates on the Twitter ban in Nigeria and the interface with the company, said, and I quote, "The end for amicable resolution is very much in sight. We appreciate the patience of Nigerians. I want to assure you that we have made very tremendous progress. We have met with Twitter, both physically and in writing. We're actually almost there. The engagement has been extremely positive without any acrimony. We have made it clear what we want from Twitter." End of quote. Now, Lai Mohammed stated that some of the conditions that were made by the federal government for Twitter operations to resume in Nigeria include that Twitter, number one, should establish legal presence in the country. They should register as a Nigerian company with an address. They should also have a country representative that would serve as a liaison and must register with relevant regulatory agencies, including the NCC. Hey, goodness. The government also is demanding that Twitter must commit itself to the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the FIRS. And they're also proposing an ombudsman between Twitter and Nigeria. What do you make of these demands, these conditions they are really, that the government of Nigeria is asking of the company Twitter before it's allowed to function and operate in the country? What do you think of these conditions? The phone lines are open: 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. You can also call 0817-923-0007 or the female caller line 0817-923-0009. The WhatsApp number is 0809-030-6416. We're also streaming live on Facebook, so you can watch us on there as you drop your comment at Nigeria Info 92.3ph. Before we go on, because I'm going to also share with you some reactions from Nigerians when they heard this yesterday, and there was obviously one reason that many Nigerians were given that kind of stood out for me. We'll also talk about that shortly, but I want to hear from you first before we'll move on with the conversation. What do you make of these conditions that the federal government of Nigeria is giving Twitter before it is allowed to operate in the country? Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
For me, we leave that Twitter ban for now and take our children, don't baptize children. Now the press have contributed money to pay, and federal government is coming to talk that maybe they want to come the forest, they will use force, they will kill the children. They should leave this Twitter ban and rescue those children. Please leave Nigeria to rest. If you leave this, let them press the children, bring our children out. It's painful. Thank you very much. God bless you. And from Nkoro.
Thank you so much, Ida from Nkoro, for sharing your thoughts. Maybe it's just not the right priority right now, right? Okay, point taken. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0007, or 0817-923-0009. The WhatsApp number is 0809-030-6416. On Facebook, you can join a conversation as well. On Facebook, it's at Nigeria Info 92.3ph. We're streaming live, so you can watch us real time as you drop your comments at Nigeria Info 92.3ph. Well, I still want to take a few reactions before I move on with the story. So yes, do all to call in. Let's take some messages on Facebook. Kristen Williams says, "This is good. I have been wondering how a responsible government can ban Twitter that about 95% of its users use it for economic purposes." All right. Thank you, Kristen Williams, for that.
They are also, out to make profit as a business entity. So the federal government is setting out conditions for them, for them to operate. I think it's a good one. Okay, something has to give. Okay, if you are making money in this country, at least you prefer to set up offices in this country that we can also be getting tax from Twitter as a business entity. So it's a very welcome development that these conditions are put before Twitter, so that they also know that Nigeria as a country we also out for business. Also, I have my position. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Go ahead.
I would suggest to my Twitter, just from what I would explain, I see that the federal government is just like it's their entity because Twitter have a based headquarters in Ghana.
Oh, apologies for that. Still also call me back. Good afternoon. Hello? All right, so you're going to have to call me back as well. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Nigeria listing, federal government listing Twitter's ban is a welcome development. And it's unfortunate if all this while that Twitter is operating in Nigeria, they are not paying anything to our coffers. In fact, the federal government has made a good step, a step in the right direction. Although that will increase their charges anyway. Everybody should know that. Thank you very much.
Increase their charges. What exactly do you mean by that?
That must increase their charges now because they have to pay tax. They have to register with Kama.
But Nigerians aren't charged to use Twitter. I mean, you just have to have internet connection.
Come again.
Nobody gets charged to use Twitter. You just have to have internet connection.
Okay. In whichever way, if it was free before, Nigeria should get ready that they must have to pay because they have to pay to their charges, their income tax, pay all the necessary things. Definitely, they are registered as a company, and as a company now, they must operate as a company in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much as well. This is interesting. So you think that if you agree that it should pay all of, meet the federal government's demands, that is, register as a Nigerian company, pay tax and the other conditions they gave, and in return, in exchange rather for that, we should get ready to pay because Twitter just might, make us pay to use the platform. I find that quite interesting and funny. Well, we've got about 27 minutes left. I'll move on shortly, but I want to take more calls. And tell me, do you agree that Twitter should register as a Nigerian company before the ban can be lifted? Is that something you are in support of? Or do you think, nah, Nigerian government is just being overreactive? Good afternoon.
So, good afternoon, Gabriella.
Good afternoon.
I think as long as Nigeria is an environment of business for any company that is making money from Nigeria, Nigeria should in return get some money out of them because they are making money out of Nigerians. So the conditions that the federal government has given them, I'm sure that every company, including your own, has met these conditions. And Twitter couldn't be anything different because in America they are not operating differently without paying any tax to the American government. So what the federal government has done is, I am totally in support of it. Let them meet those conditions. If not, they should go out elsewhere and start making their money elsewhere and live Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Now, let me put this into perspective for you, because many of you are saying, oh, yes, you're in support of what the government is asking for, the demands of the government before the ban can be lifted. But I want to put it in perspective. If you're saying, oh, yes, Twitter should pay, Twitter should register as a Nigerian company. They should pay tax. They should have a liaison officer. They should have an office, a physical. They should have all of these before they're allowed to function. That means, invariably, we're also saying, before we can watch CNN must come register as a Nigerian company. They must come have a Nigerian office and a liaison officer. They must come pay tax before Nigerians are allowed to access the television station. It's also like saying before you can watch, I don't know, whatever your favorite channel is on DSTV, they must come pay. That channel must come pay tax. They must come register as a Nigerian company. It's also saying before you download any app on your Play Store or on your App Store, that app must come register as a Nigerian company and have an office, a physical office in Nigeria before Nigerians are allowed to use such apps. That would also go with all our social media apps like WhatsApp, like Facebook, like Instagram, like YouTube. That's exactly what we're saying. That means we're asking all of these businesses, these social media platforms, these mobile apps to come open offices in Nigeria and pay tax before Nigerians are allowed to access them. That's exactly what we're saying. That should also mean, I hope you know, that, of course, before you're allowed to buy a brand of a mobile phone, that company, the mobile phone company, must also come open an office in Nigeria, must also come pay tax and have an accountant, have office staff before you're allowed to buy the phones and obviously use such mobile phones. That would also extend to the cars that we drive. Before we're allowed to drive any brand of car, they must come open an office, a physical office in Nigeria. They must register as a Nigerian company, and they must also pay tax, among so many other conditions that we might feel is appropriate for us to create. Only then would Nigerians be allowed to patronize and drive those cars. That would also entail, I hope you know, the clothes that you put on, the hair that you wear, the accessories that you use on a daily basis, even the food that you buy, the imported food that you buy for your dogs and for your children, and the sausages that you love to eat for breakfast as well. They're also saying that those companies must come register in Nigeria as a Nigerian company, open an office in Nigeria, have office staff, pay tax before they're allowed to be patronized by Nigerians. I do hope you know that's exactly what you're saying. That's just put it into perspective for you. So, a cross-section of Nigerians reacted, obviously, to the plan by the federal government to lift this ban on Twitter. And reacting, they took to social media pages, to say that the plan to lift the ban on Twitter is because of the 2023 campaign elections. This was one of the reasons that kind of stood out for me. And here are a few reactions as gathered by Daily Post. I'll just go through many of them. Arinze Chukwu said, "Democracy wins over dictatorship, but we tread with caution to know what deal they struck with Twitter before accepting to lift the ban." Oga Ebenezer said they need the platform for 2023 campaigns. TTT says so they can use Twitter during elections, I guess. Olu of Manchester says freedom of speech and expression has been bargained successfully. So many other, reactions were put together and collated by Daily Post, and these were some of the things that Nigerians were saying. Ooh, it just might be the reason. Do you think, by any chance, that might be the reason why the government is perhaps considering lifting the ban? What do you think? What do you think? Back to the phone lines now. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Debbie.
Good afternoon.
You see, when you were actually educating us on if CNN should open their office here in Nigeria, you see, when you are done, I think that is the best place. You see, when you are in a comedy stage, and you see the comedian will just talk and then drop the mic, right? I think that is the point where you drop the mic and then you just boom and walk away from the stage. Because a lot of Nigerians think that Twitter is gaining so much that the federal government, that's why the federal government is doing what they are doing. You see, thank you for enlightening us, because sometimes when I discuss this with people, they think it's one big deal, that it is a free account. Buhari that registered on Twitter, registered for free. The engagement he gets them everything for free. Everybody in Nigeria that uses Twitter, they use it free of charge. The example you give, I don't hope your listeners who don't even have an account, because most of people are calling, it's obvious that they don't even have an account. They don't even have a smartphone. I bet you most of them don't even have a smartphone, but because they are playing the bandwagon, that people they are making opinions that cannot even hold water. You see, you just help us now, because trust me, this Twitter ban is as a result of the coming election. That is why they are. The ban list. That is why they are saying all that they are saying now. And watch how it plays out. And I just hope that the same Nigerians will. That is what we are carried away. Election is coming. Now look at the body language. Look at how they are training. That is how they will be going. They will be going to that line. Forgetting that is a lure. They are luring us into believing that they are making some kind of silly arrangements. Nothing. No arrangement is making. Twitter is enjoying themselves. Nigerians are on Twitter. They know how to access Twitter, and they are using that platform very well. The government are the one losing. They will just have to come back and then cash up on it again, and then you know how it goes. So we should rise there for crying out loud. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on the matter. Good afternoon.
Yes, good
afternoon.
My dynamic might disagree with you on some of the examples that you made earlier on. You talked about phone shops that phone shops need to come down to register. You're making instances as in regard to Twitter. I think I don't agree with you. The phone shops, they pay import duty. They have offices here. We have a number of them at Abaro here. They pay revenue to Rivers State government. Is it the same with Twitter? You talked about cars. The cars, they pay import duty at clearance points. They have where they park them at the car stand. The various state governors revenue is not there, so they collect money the ones who have along Abaro. Then they pay revenue to state government. They pay taxes. They pay environmental sanitation fee and everything. Is it the same for Twitter? You talked about CNN. CNN, you cannot just on your television and start watching CNN. You need to get a decoder, I don't know if I'm permitted to code their name, that also pays taxes to the state government. The last time they had issues, they wanted to pull them out. State government intervened. You cannot just on television and start watching CNN. Is it the same thing with Twitter?
It's the same way. I understand what you're saying, but here's what I'm saying. The same way you have to.
No.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? The same way you can't just go on your phone and access Twitter and do what you want to do. You have to have data. You have to have internet access. It's the exact same way.
No, if I download the app in my house, I don't need to get the data and I'm busy.
No, you have to have data. You cannot use Twitter without data. You can't.
Of course, I have data. What is my data contributing to the Rivers State government? I've got data in my house here.
The telecommunications companies that you subscribe data through pay their taxes. That is how the River State government is benefiting.
I don't know the instances you cited about cards, phones, and everything. I think it's a bit of exaggerated.
It's the exact same way. The exact same way.
It's not the same thing. We can't stand here.
The only difference is this is a social media platform. The other is a television station. That is the only difference.
Now let me tell you, the car stand you mentioned, you clear them as import as a custom, you rent a space import in Abaro, you pay for the space, you pay revenue to state government, you pay for the WAMA, you pay for sanitation. It's telling us the government not getting anything from the point of purchase.
So are you saying that we should obviously scrap our Google Play Store and our app stores on iPhones just because the River State government, in your own words, is not benefiting from being online or being on the internet?
I am not in support of Twitter, and I use Twitter. I know how high the limited of having information and everything. But all I'm saying is that the example you cited is too fast from the reality. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I understand your point. Thank you very much for pointing that out, but I totally disagree with you. It is obviously the very same thing. The only difference is this is an online social media platform, the other is a television station, the other is a product. But it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same request. If the government is requesting that before Nigerians can use the social media platform to socialize or whatever, or do business with, they must come open a physical office in Nigeria. We're invariably also saying that for every other social media platform, that those might be the conditions. We're also invariably saying that if the government deems so fit tomorrow, they would also say you cannot even drive cars until that car company has an office in Nigeria. It's a given. I don't see how you don't see that. Clement is on the line from NT Road. Good afternoon, Clement.
Yes, thank you. Let me also help you to help Obina, the previous caller that just called. You are aware that the multi-choice, you have a particular subscription that will give you some channels, and some they will not give you some channels, right? So I hope Obina is listening. Now, because you subscribe to such platform, there are channels that they will not put on your decoder that you don't have access to watch, and you cannot watch it except maybe you choose the back door. Now that is just to help Obina. Secondly, people that pay for custom clearance, that bring in car and all that, it is not Toyota or any of those brands that pays for those. It is you, the buyer,
exactly.
that pays for it, not the company. It is you that brings into the country that pays for it. Now that is on one side. Now the Facebook, the Twitter, the Google, and all those. You see, if you uninstall it in your phone, like you don't need it, you know that it is your own individual decision. It is not the telecommunication. Perhaps you are saving your data. Now, do you know that Facebook, Twitter, and all that, they have understanding with our telecommunications? Residents here in Nigeria. That is why we are using it in Nigeria, because we are paying for it. Do you also know that we have, you can subscribe for a particular bundle, let's say Facebook for instance. You pay let's say MTN, that, okay, I only want to have access to Facebook. They will not give you access to any other platform because you pay for that. You pay for Twitter, yes, for Twitter, for TikTok, or even for WhatsApp. Then you cannot have access to Facebook if you buy a bundle for WhatsApp for 1 month. Now that is because you choose to do that. So like I said, a lot of us are ignorant of this. We don't think government are doing us a good. They are not doing us any good thing. They are ignorant. They don't know shit about this thing. They don't know anything.
Clement, you have to watch your words. This is
sorry.
Oh, he's gone. Please don't use such words on the radio. Ima from NTA Road. Good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon, sister. No. Thank you for your detailed analysis and explanation about the dangerous implications of this action on Twitter. Just like as you pointed out, it will mean let the Mercedes company that brings car, the Toyota company that brings car, the Honda and so on, Nissan, it means that all of them should come to Nigeria and be registered. Does it make any sense? The Twitter, is it the owners of the Twitter? Is it them that benefit? Is it not the Nigerians? We only buy our data from the network, and we make use of Facebook, Twitter, and other network social media branches free. They don't charge us. So what is the need of imposing this order? That they must demonstrate that. Then, conclusively, I am saying the owners of all these social media branches, if this order will affect them, what they will do is, we have 206 nations that made up the world. Nigeria is just one among the 206 nations. Then let them cut Nigeria off and give their services to other nations. So that's what I will do. Somebody is giving you something free. You want to come now and charge the person. For what reason? Thank you, sister. No.
All right. Thank you very much. It's Gabriella, by the way. Mufasa is on the line from D-Line. Good afternoon, Mufasa.
Yeah, good afternoon, Gabi. Well, Gabi, I also would want to disagree with your position because when you begin to say CNN, the caller that said Twitter is free of charge, I don't know where we get that kind of notion from. Because if you are telling me that I'm using Twitter on my phone and it's free of charge, I don't know how the company called Twitter, how they were able to generate money to run that very big firm. Now, what we should understand is this. Whether you are buying data on your phone and you are not paying directly to Twitter, we should understand that it is a value share, just like the CNN that you made mention of. You understand? If you don't subscribe to multi-choice and get that subscription for you to be able to access CNN, you cannot switch on your television and get it. And there's a way CNN gets their money through that arrangement. That's why I said it is a value share. It is not possible for us to now begin to imagine that Twitter is operating as a charity organization. I said Twitter is not a charity organization. That entity was set up to make profit. Okay, now, Gabriel, let me ask you a question. Are you aware that Twitter has an office in Ghana? Are you telling me now that if they don't have anything to gain by citing a physical presence in Ghana, why should Twitter or why would Twitter now move to Ghana to set up an office? And secondly, Gabriela, why would Twitter also want to negotiate with the Nigerian government if they are not benefiting anything from Nigeria as a country? So I do not agree with you. And the caller who said that Twitter, they are doing us a favor and we are accessing Twitter for free. I don't think that is possible. What I'm saying in essence is this. Twitter as a company was set up to make profit. and they have what they are benefiting from the Nigerian state and Nigerian system. And that is why, even after the ban, Twitter has to make a move to ensure that the matter is resolved, in a particular platform where the Nigerian government benefits. They also, as a business entity, also benefit. So it's not possible for us to now that because we assess CNN, we assess this and all of that, that we cannot ask them to pay. They have a way, we have a way of getting revenue from even the company called CNN through the value chain that, a multi-choice is presented to us as a means to have access to that station. So I do not think, that analogy you gave, as far as I'm concerned, I do not think it holds any water. That's my position.
All right, Mufasa, thank you very much. Now, let me explain this so you all don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that Twitter is a free company. It's not a charity it's not a charity organization. Don't misquote me. I'm not saying Twitter does not make money. Of course, Twitter does make money. I'm not also saying Twitter doesn't make money from the Nigerian space or Nigerian market. It does make money. I am saying let's not deviate from the conversation. The Nigerian government giving Twitter as a company the condition. It could have been anybody else but Twitter. It could have been Google. It could have been Facebook. It could have been any other international company. Giving them the condition that, look, if you want to operate in Nigeria, you must have a physical office. Now, when you talked about the office in Ghana, I was laughing because, again, every single international company has an office in Africa. They have their Africa-based headquarters, if you could put it that way. And Twitter chose Ghana. For so many of these companies, I would not mention names, there are international companies that have their African office in Nigeria. We didn't see those ones. But because for the first time in a long time, Ghana was chosen, a lot of Nigerians, were upset about that. You have a right to feel how you want to feel about that. But every international company has a physical office in Africa. And they can as well choose Senegal. They can as well choose Chad or Benin Republic for all they please. It is their African office wherein every operation and information, data, and all that needs to be done, operations and all, is brought to the desk at their African office and obviously sent to whatever office they are in every other part of the world. So do not misunderstand me to say Twitter is a free company or a charity organization. It is not. It's making money here. But if you come and say, before Twitter can function in Senegal as an African country, before they are allowed to access it, they must come have a physical office here and pay tax. It's a completely different conversation. You need to get the point I'm making. It's a completely different conversation entirely. So let's not deviate from what the real conversation is. This is not an argument about whether or not Twitter is making money from the Nigerian market. Of course, every company is making money. Of course, I mean, that's a given. Anyone who, can articulate properly would know that. So that is not the conversation. Sadly, we're out of time. I don't know how that happened. We're out of time. TK Arikbo on Facebook says, only God knows how much telecommunications companies have lost over this decision by the government. Thank God Atwegu says, Twitter might be regretting why they deleted Mr. President's tweet. Let's see if we can take any messages on WhatsApp. One Touch from Mumunduru says, good day, Gabriella. Obina seems to know it all. Even though he doesn't make sense most times, his greatest problem is that he cannot listen to understand. This says, Gabby, you went out of context with the discussion. The issue is, why did Twitter open an office in Ghana? You're funny. I think I addressed that issue already. This says, good day, Gabby, I think the government has found their mistakes, and instead of accepting it willingly, they're looking for an excuse to cover up the mess. Okay? From Emmy says, Gabby, for me, the FG is overreacting. To me, it's not appropriate to agree to the terms that they came up with. They should come up with other better policies. All right, thank you for that. Let's see. This says, good afternoon, Gabby. In all honesty, the stand of the federal government makes no sense. It just shows they have nothing they're fighting for or regulating. They are just picking on the company. Pedro from Ajib. That'll be a final comment. The time is up. 1 o'clock happens in 3 minutes. That hour, over time for the news update, and right after for the conversations on the sunny side. Don't go away.